The Pantheon in Rome is one of the most familiar ancient buildings in the world, but what makes it really fascinating is not just its age, it's the way its design keeps showing up again and again throughout history. Built between 118 and 125 CE during Emperor Hadrian's reign, the Pantheon is a masterpiece of engineering, symbolism, and architectural ambition. In this video, I'm going to talk about how the Pantheon works as an ancient structure and how comparing it with Renaissance and modern building actually helps bring it to life all over again. The Pantheon's dome is key to understanding why later architects keep returning to this building for inspiration. It is still the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome, and the Romans pulled it off using a smart combination of heavy materials at the base and lighter volcanic rock like pumice near the top. The dome is 142 feet across, and the height of the building is also 142 feet, which makes the interior basically a perfect sphere. It's like the design they built around the idea of a giant invisible ball. The square shapes you see carved into the ceiling, called coffers, weren't just decorative. They help remove extra weight too, and the oculus, the big circular opening in the middle, also lightened the load while letting in that dramatic beam of sunlight. The dome, the coffers that reduce its weight, and the open oculus all work together to create an interior that feels surprisingly modern, almost like a minimalist design from today. The space is simple but incredibly dramatic, and the oculus acts like a spotlight that makes the building feel alive as the sun moves across the sky. The Pantheon's influence becomes even more interesting when we look at the Renaissance, especially Filippo Brunelleschi's design of the dome of the Florence Cathedral. Renaissance thinkers were obsessed with discovering lost knowledge, and the Pantheon became a kind of guidebook for them. He actually studied the Pantheon to understand how the Romans built such a massive dome without it collapsing. He used similar ideas like layering materials and creating an inner and outer shell to build the largest dome of his own time. But the influence wasn't only technical. The Pantheon's perfect geometry, its balance between the circular dome and rectangular porch, showed Renaissance architects how architecture could express harmony, order, and the human connection to the cosmos. By reviving Roman ideas, Renaissance architects essentially brought the Pantheon's innovation back into the spotlight and gave them a new purpose. Seeing these Renaissance structures helped us understand the Pantheon better, because we realized its design was so ahead of its time that later architects had to go back to it to figure out how to move forward. The Pantheon story doesn't stop in the Renaissance. It jumps again into modern times, especially in the United States. A perfect example is the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. If you put it next to the Pantheon, the inspiration is almost impossible to miss. The large steps, the round rotunda, the dome, and even the sense of calm symmetry. But the meaning behind it also matters. The Pantheon once connected Rome's emperor with the gods and the universe. The Jefferson Memorial uses a similar design to suggest stability, democracy, and timelessness. By borrowing the Pantheon's form, modern architects brought ancient Roman ideals into a modern political setting. This is how the Pantheon keeps living, a structural dome, a kind of architectural language that later cultures used to express their own values. When we look at the Renaissance dome or modern monuments like the Jefferson Memorial, we're not just seeing new buildings, we're seeing echoes of the Pantheon. These later structures help us understand the Pantheon's impact and remind us that ancient architecture isn't stuck in the past. It continues to shape how we build today. By comparing the Pantheon with the buildings it inspires, the structure becomes more than a Roman temple. It becomes a living monument whose ideas keep returning across time. And that's what makes it Rome's most valuable piece. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on this journey through one of history's most remarkable architectural masterpieces. The works cited for this video are now on screen for you to explore. Until next time, keep looking up and appreciating the incredible structures that connects us to the past.